What's up, guys? This is AJ Leon at ajleon.me. We are on our Rise of the Cubicle Farmer road trip. We just hit Seattle, and I'm hanging out with my new friend, Karen Johanson, and she's got a very interesting story. She is an ex-Microsoft employee turned professional photographer, and we want to ask her a little bit about how she did that and all that. So, hello. How are you? So, first question, where were you 2 years ago?
Okay, so 2 years ago I was at Microsoft working in a producer role, and that was for the employee portal that they have, covering everything from doing some photo editing, doing a lot of work with stakeholders throughout the company to produce promotions for product launches or events, or basically just anything that needed to be publicized.
Yeah. And what did your life look like? I mean, as a person who, you obviously, I mean, we were just talking, you had this passion for photography. That was something that you held on. Like, what did your life look like at Microsoft?
Okay, the one plus was that they had actually hired me because of my kind of visual sensibilities. They wanted to improve the aesthetics for this particular site, so I was pretty heavily involved in kind of improving the visuals by sourcing photos and whatnot. But you know, my passion for actually creating photos was not being used there.
Yeah.
That was something they talked about, but then
in practice,
actually funding didn't come through for that. Right. So yeah.
And what did you, I mean, when you were sitting at your desk, like, if you can remember, what did you want your life to look like then? I mean, you're sitting there at your desk, you're doing your job, you got this little pack. What did you want?
Basically to be creating photos for some of the industries that I'm most intrigued by, which is action sports and adventure travel and whatnot, and to do some of the traveling that I'd already done on a small scale as a freelancer. So.
Why, when and why did you leave? Like, what was the last, kind of?
That role was actually a contract role, so it was, due to expire. Sure. But because I still held this passion, and also because the economy was a bit slow, it seemed a really opportune time to put some more effort into building the fledgling photography business that I had so far only dabbled in.
That takes a lot of courage in that sort of economy to say, now's the time to launch it. How did that work out in your mind?
Well, one of the resources that became available to me was there is kind of an entrepreneurial training program, business development training through an organization called Washington Cash, where they teach you everything about creating a business plan, to properly marketing, to, most importantly for me, financials, because that has always been my weakest, the weakest link. Yeah. And so that really caused me to do the hard work, to look at my data and my financials and start making much smarter decisions about what type of projects to pursue and who to be working with.
And let me ask you, because that's a great lead into something that we were talking about 5 minutes ago, which was, don't be afraid. You said something that I hardly hear people say as entrepreneurs, because usually it's very gung-ho. So don't be afraid to ask for help.
Right.
And how did that, you've been involved in, I think, 3 different programs that were very interesting. Tell us about those and how you kind of reached out for help and how that helped empower you.
Okay, well, someone actually told me about the Washington Cash program a few years back, but from what I'd heard, it didn't seem like it was going to be a proper fit, and then it kind of popped back into my life, and it turned out that I went and explored it and was accepted into that program. It just seemed like that was what I really needed to push things forward.
Sure.
And then the other program that I'm currently heavily involved with is Seattle University's Small Business Institute, and that is a scenario where I'm working with a team of business students in areas like finance and marketing and management, to basically get kind of free consulting about how to improve those areas of my business. So
really
we're about halfway through that term, and actually meeting with them tomorrow. But it's definitely been a huge help. And after for a while going along this path where I was thinking, no, I can learn to do these things. I'll go and take a small business administration course or whatever, and I'll learn to do these things myself. I realize in business that success is so much about collaboration, that you meet, finding the people who love doing those things where I don't have either the passion or the skills or whatever, and working together to make things happen. So
yeah, that's it's cool. I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I've never heard of a program like that, but I have to imagine if they do it here in Seattle, it's probably all over. You know, where colleges and college students get together and
I believe so. I know there's another program at University of Washington that's similar.
That's
but
cool.
yeah,
That's very cool. Now, you as soon as you get out of your corporate job, how do you start getting clients? Because that's kind of the scariest element, I think, for most entrepreneurs starting out is, you know, I leave, and that first bit of the inertia of the idea, turning that from that, you know, to actual market money. How did that happen? And what did you do to?
Fortunately, I am perhaps one of the few people who is not that uncomfortable with cold calling, so I just reached out to people that I thought.
That's awesome. That's cool, though.
That I thought could be a source of what I needed to do. And, you know, sometimes that was prospective clients, you know, sometimes it was just people in the industries that I would go to and say, you know, this is what I'm trying to achieve, who should I talk to?
So did you so you leave, you're like, I'm going to do this thing. Did you kind of get prospects from people? Did you go yellow pages and you just started calling people that you thought, hey, this might be interesting, and completely out of the blue?
I did a lot of research online, just kind of looked up, you know, finding out who was doing the interesting work.
Sure.
And didn't even focus that much on areas where businesses said that they actually needed help or anything, but just places that looked like it might be a good fit, that I could be an asset to what they were doing.
Yeah,
so
that's very cool. Now, in terms of technology, one thing that kind of struck me, you know, you filled out our request to stop, and you said that you use Batchbook and FreshBooks and you enjoy them, and I found that so interesting because you certainly don't meet a lot of entrepreneurs using cloud-based technology yet. And to use two of the premier, you know, small business apps, how do they help empower you? Like, talk about FreshBooks first, and I guess then get into Batchbook, and like how do they help you out in your business practice?
FreshBooks I have used more recently. The biggest thing that I love about FreshBooks is that it integrates with all of the contacts that I have set up in Batchbook,
yes.
and so you know, that's been a huge plus.
Yeah.
And then Batchbook, I had actually tried a traditional software tool that was specific to the photo industry before, to keep track of prospects and clients. But the things that's different about Batchbook, or a few things that are different, is the way it's set up. It makes it so easy to send an email, but that email is also recorded in my contacts with the company, and so it's so simple. I mean, it's so much less work that way, and also the social media integration. I can find out about what these people are doing and saying.
So tell me about that. Like, I mean, before you contact maybe a prospective client, will you look and see, hey, look at what they're doing on their Twitter stream, on their blog, because it kind of imports, and then that'll be something. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you look at that context.
Twitter is a fairly huge resource for me. It's been great in terms of researching people and companies. It's been really a good source of connections. I've got connections all over the world now. Particularly, the interesting thing, adventure travel is kind of an area that I have more recently decided to explore as kind of an offshoot of action sports, because I thought, well, here I've been shooting snowboarding and mountain biking, and I had actually gotten a query from one bike tour company about working with them.
Ooh.
And so it seemed really obvious to kind of explore that further,
Yeah.
because just to tie in with my passion for travel and that I know how to capture these sports. And
Sure.
so I have met people all over the place that I would never have found just because they followed me, and
Yeah.
we kind of keep track of what each other are doing. So
Tell me, if you were talking to somebody who was where you were at, 2 years ago, maybe
Okay.
in a job, maybe they even like their job, but they've got a passion and they kind of want to do their own thing. They're an aspiring entrepreneur. What would be your advice to them today? Maybe a couple pieces of advice that say this is
Yeah.
going to help you get from the cubicle to where you want to be.
to go back to that whole thing of asking for help, look for what resources there are out there. Maybe check with the University Business Schools and see if they have a program similar to what I've been doing, and also to watch what kind of the heavy hitters are doing in your industry, whether how they're doing marketing or if you can find out about how they're doing operations, and basically steal ideas
Emulate,
from what
yeah.
they're doing.
Sure, yeah.
So.
Okay. And where can people find you on the Twitters and on the web and everything so they can look you up if they want?
So my website is KarenJohanson.com. That's KarenJohanson.com. And I'm Bike Girl on Twitter. That's BIKEGRRL.
Okay. Cool.
So.
All right. Well, you heard it right from here. We're in Seattle, and I hope you guys enjoyed this interview. Definitely hook up with Karen. She seems like a very cool person, and she's got a lot of great tips for aspiring entrepreneurs. So see you guys later.